Okay, so hi everybody, mine's Ronan, and I'm taking the Easter course for economics. First thing I want to go through is read the plan over the next 5 days. So what we're going to, or your next 5 classes, what we're going to cover mostly will be microeconomics. Okay, so the first class will be supply, demand, elasticity. The second class, it will overlap a bit more. We'll work on, in the second class, a little bit on elasticity, and then we'll jump to cost of production. Third class will be on factors of production. Your fourth class will be on market structures, monopoly, oligopoly, and stuff like that. And then on our last day, we'll be working on macro, okay, and that's when we'll go through. Mainly with macro, obviously won't be able to do it all in one class or anything like that, but I'll go through the questions. I'll be picking out about 6 or 7 questions I think are really, really important for you guys this year. We'll be drilling through those questions, okay? So to jump in straight away, we're going to do supply and demand and elasticity in this class. This question comes up every year, okay, and that's when you're looking at there and it comes up every year. And that's one long question for 75 marks out of 400, which is 19% of your paper. But on top of that, you'd usually see it made for maybe 1 or 2 short questions, okay? So on average, like the least amount of marks, if you're looking over your past papers, you'd have seen this question come up for over the last 10 years, it would have been worth at least 22% of your paper, okay? So what we're doing today in today's class. Now, on top of that, even like some years we get lucky, like my 6 years last year, and they got a question on supply and demand in one, and then another long question was on elasticity, and then I threw it in as like a short question as well. But my 6 years last year would have seen it for roughly about 40% of their paper, and that's just supply, demand, elasticity. So you really need to sit down. The things you can control with economics are, they've always given us questions, supply, demand, elasticity, they've always given us question market structures. You know them really, really well, and you're setting yourself up nicely for the paper, okay? So again, stuck into it today. We're not, of course, going to go through every single thing, supply, demand, elasticity. The questions I've picked out for us to work on this class are 2 things. First off, they're questions that I think students find quite tricky, but after as well, they're questions that I think have a really, really good chance of coming up this year as well compared to other years, okay? So that's 2 things. Some questions I might be going through a little bit more quickly, some topics on the notes. It's mainly because I've seen that a lot of it can be very straightforward, a lot of it just boils back down to learn off the notes and stuff. It's not that bad, but some questions we will be working on that I will be going through in a lot more detail. They're questions students tend to struggle with, okay? So I want us to get stuck into this straight away. I don't want us to I want us to use our time very, very well. So we'll start off there. If you can open up your notes, guys. We're going to work on the micro handout, and we'll jump into it straight away there, guys. If you can open up there and look at page 3, okay? So when I ask you this question here, right, what are the assumptions you make about consumer behaviour? I always just think of the word, well, it's not really a word, but I just go like slider, okay? And that's it, like maximum satisfaction, limited income, low diminishing marginal utility, and they behave rationally, okay? So I'll go through them now, right? But the first question I'm going to ask you guys, or the first question we're going to look at here is, what are the assumptions? When we're in economics, what are the assumptions we make about how a consumer behaves, okay? First one there is consumer wants to maximise their satisfaction, okay? And you see that thing there, one maximise their satisfaction, first point in the notes. Can you write down there, guys, from 1 to 4 there, S, L, I, on 1, S, on 2, L-I, on 3, D, and on 4, or. See, they highlight those letters, right? So they ask you what are the assumptions made about consumer behaviour. Just think of that word, slider, and then you're like, right, S, L-I, D, or. Consumers wish to maximise their satisfaction, okay? So what we're looking at here with a consumer, when they behave, you're going to want to spend your money the best way possible to get you the most amount of satisfaction. Remember again, guys, in economics, like you in life, you've got like unlimited wants, but you've got limited resources, okay? And that limited resource is going to be your money. So you're going to want to spend your money the best way possible, right? So what you do and what you need to mark and explain this is, they will obey the equi-marginal principle of consumer behaviour. Now, if you don't know what that means, don't worry about it, we'll come up to in a minute, but that's your job, okay? Make sure it highlights down there, it's underlined, it's in bold in the notes. They'll obey the equi-marginal principle of consumer behaviour. The next thing there you see, guys, point number 2, the LI. Consumer has a limited income. Now, circle down there, you'll see the word there. When you have a limited income, you have to make a choice, okay? So I can't go out and buy every single thing I want. I have to make a choice between what I want to buy and what I can't buy, okay? And that's the LI. Circle the notes, guys. See that there, it's the consumers must choose. Circle the word choose, make sure you've got that. Next one then, guys, you'll have is the law of diminishing marginal utility. And we'll look into this in a lot more detail now, but what we assume with consumers is they're subject to this law, the law of diminishing marginal utility. And what we're getting at with this is like, this applies to anything, like a simple way of looking at it, but like imagine there if I'm drinking like a can of Coke, right? And the first can of Coke is really nice, the second can of Coke then after that won't be as nice, okay? Because I don't have much thirst for it, And then the third can of Coke, I'd nearly be sick and I don't want to drink it at all. But that's the idea, like that's a simple way. You won't get any marks for it, but if you explain it like that, but that's what you're getting at the law of diminished marginal utility, okay? So make sure you have it there. As a consumer consumes more units of a good, the additional satisfaction they derive from each good eventually declines, okay? And we'll go into it in much more detail, but that's what they're getting at with the law of diminished marginal utility. So the assumption here is that consumers, they're subject to that law. The last one there, guys, the consumer is rational, okay, and they'll act in a manner consistent with his or her preferences, okay. And what we're getting at that is that, like, if you're out shopping, let's say it's me, and I see this marker for sale in one shop for £2 and another shop for £2.50. Let's say shop A it's £2 and shop B it's £2.50. Of course, I'm going to buy this marker where it's cheaper, okay, and that's just the other one we're getting at. We assume all consumers are rational. Obviously, this doesn't happen. We don't always do things that are rational or really smart or whatever, but just that's the assumption we make when we look at economics, right? So the assumptions about consumer behaviour, fairly very straightforward stuff. Okay, next one there, guys, economic goods. You can mark them down there. I've been asking you guys on page 3 about economic goods. PUT. All goods must have a price, utility, and they must be transferable. This marker is an economic good. Okay, cost, let's say £4. That's its price. Its utility, what's its use? We can write on the board with it, and it's transferable. I can sell it to you. Okay, it's transferable. That's an economic good. Okay. And something like, intelligence wouldn't be economic good. You can't sell your IQ to somebody else, okay? So that's what they mean, that some goods are economic, other things aren't, okay? But look, it's all broken down there. I'm not going to waste your time. Read that in your own time. Very straightforward stuff, okay? I want us to get into the trickier stuff now. So you guys flick over there to page 4, okay? And even actually, if you guys want to follow me over here, this is the question I think we need to